That's what I try to portray, is like how the kittens start off, their journey, and then how they end up, which I usually call their glow up. So I think like showing people this journey like makes them want to get involved, and also showing people like the need. My name is Lisa Krakowski, and I foster for Pet Alliance of Greater Orlando. We would get, probably at least one email a day with several requests, what kittens came into the shelter that day and that they were trying to get out into foster care. So that was really an eye-opening experience, just seeing how great of a need there was. Fostering actually had been something I thought about for a number of years, but I just wasn't quite sure how to get started. So initially I became a volunteer first, and actually on one of my volunteer shifts, a mom and kittens that were just under a week old were brought in about an hour before the shelter was closing. So the shelter staff were, trying to look for a place for this mom and kittens to go so they wouldn't have to stay overnight in the shelter. And so I just kind of, without thinking, offered to take them. So that was kind of my first foster experience. Just kind of jumped into it, and ever since then, I've been fostering ever since then. Every single day I probably sent, the shelter manager, foster coordinator, probably at least one email a day, kind of freaking out like, is this normal, is this okay? And they are very helpful through the whole process, and looking back at that, the things I asked were funny to me now. Anything and everything about regarding their weight gain, how they look. If possible, keep those fosters in a tiled area. Cannot stress that enough. And also use items that are very easily cleaned, sanitized, or can be thrown in the washer. Again, a lesson I've learned over and over again. And then my last piece of advice would be always follow your gut. If you think anything's off, even if it may seem kind of silly to you, it's always best to get it checked out. I mean, and even to this day, I will ask questions about anything and everything. Honestly, one of the hardest to place for my personal organization, Pet Alliance, is kittens with nursing mothers, which is so surprising because the mom does all the work. And like I said, there's often older kittens who need fostering. Things that hold people back are they don't realize that they can foster if they work, maybe because they're used to seeing a lot of people emphasizing the bottle babies, but there are a lot of other needs for fosters, from weaned kittens, kittens with mothers. I do know like a couple people who started fostering simply from following my account. Some foster from the same organization, Pet Alliance, that I do. You form like a unique friendship, and you're part of like this secret club, I guess it feels like, saving kittens. For me, the most impactful are definitely ones where they've just made such a big transition. Seeing like, you can't save them all, but seeing how we managed to save this one, and she grew into a beautiful, fluffy kitten, and was adopted, and the mother was adopted, and that's kind of like a story that shows fostering as a whole, where overall it's generally a very rewarding, happy experience.